All right, welcome to Yahoo Finance Presents. I'm joined by Levi Strauss CEO Chip Bergh. Chip, always good to see you.
Hey, Brian. Great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course. You know, what you don't see on the other side of this this suit and tie setup is wearing a pair of athleisure pants under this suit amid this whole work from home trend. Debunk this for us. Why won't this work from home trend and how we're all living now, why won't that impact jean sales?
Well, thanks for teeing that one up because it is a myth that needs to be dispelled. So I'm going to read from some notes here, but if we read data all the time, and if you look at the data for what consumers are wearing from the waist down, non-active apparel is still 70% of all waist down wear. And of that, denim is about 50% of it. Okay, so the total denim category is about 30% of all apparel bottoms, if you will, the things that you're putting on your legs and your butt every single day. Denim is about 30% of it. Men's jeans and women's jeans are both bigger than athleisure. And then the other thing is, during the pandemic, we've run research around the world on a routine basis, and we've been doing this long before the pandemic, called Who, What, Where. And we track what people are wearing. And in April, 50% of the people globally around the world, the peak of the pandemic, were wearing denim. The other 50% were in pajamas, athleisure, and other things. Or nothing, and every single month since April, the trend has been more towards typical wear, and denim has continued to grow, and those other categories, pajamas, athleisure, and other things, have declined as people are going back out again, walking the dog, or going out and shopping and doing those kind of normal things. So the final thing I would say is, within denim, we are absolutely the category leader on a global basis. We're number one in men's, we're number one in women's around the world. And here in the United States, we're number one in men's with 24% market share. And according to NPD, which tracks the industry, we're 2 times bigger than the next largest brand. So we define denim, we are denim around the world, and denim is still, importantly, bigger than the athleisure trend.
Chip, I can assure you, I'm not the one in that nothing category. I am wearing stuff every single morning when I'm doing these shows. But
I believe that probably underneath that suit and tie, waist down, which we can't see, is probably a pair of Levi's.
Well, what standard? Fair enough. What do we usually say in this business? No comment, or decline to comment. But, it's clearly, listen, we're going to be working from home, if not for another year, another 2 years. What's the bottom of the future look like for Levi's? Are you thinking about putting elastic at the bottom of your jeans? I'm not sure, but how are you thinking about it?
Well, I mean, we're very focused through this pandemic, and you're right. We don't know how long this is going to go, but my motto is control what we can control, focus on the controllables, and then plan for the worst and hope for the best. And we're continuing to innovate through the pandemic. We're continuing to launch new products. We're launching a whole new line of sustainable products coming out this fall, with marketing around sustainability too, which is huge right now. And the timing couldn't be better. So we're going to continue to innovate. The trends are moving towards looser, more comfortable jeans. So the trend had been, over the last 5 or 10 years, on both the men's and women's side of the business, towards more tapered, slimmer, skinnier fits, if you will. The trend now is moving away from that. It's a white space that our designers saw. We're moving into that. And because we are so big in denim, we really can define the trends. So that's kind of where the puck is heading. Stretch and comfort will always be important. It started on the women's side of the business, but it's gone to the men's side of the business, and stretch is in about 70% of our men's product today.
Do you think the pandemic has changed how consumers view consumption? I'll use me for an example. I have spent the past 2 months emptying out my closet, and I'm a big jeans fan. I own tons of jeans, but maybe I don't need a new pair of jeans.
It absolutely has. I mean, we're already seeing a dramatic shift in consumer behavior because of the pandemic. And one of the big changes is this notion of conscious consumption. Conspicuous consumption is out the window. I think consumers have finally gotten on to the fact that if you go to fast fashion and pay $4 for a t-shirt and wear it 3 times and throw it in the garbage, and eventually it goes to the landfill, that A, that's not a good value, and B, it's not good for planet Earth. And the trend is much more towards upcycling, recycling, and buying product that is truly quality, that is multi-purpose, that you can wear for a long, long time. And we think these trends really play to our advantage. I mean, we sell vintage Levi's in many of our mainline doors where we're charging a premium for a vintage 25-year-old trucker jacket versus a brand new trucker jacket. And the young kids today, they're going into thrift stores, buying their clothes, taking pictures, posting it on Instagram, and a week later, they're upcycling it back up onto ThredUp or one of the online thrift sites. So it's definitely a trend that we're seeing. I think we're going to see smaller closets. We're going to see consumers buying much more higher quality, more versatile products, and they're going to go to the brands that they trust. And that all of that plays to our strength and our advantage.
One thing out of your control, Chip, is what we're seeing in the retail sector with these department stores. You have Lord & Taylor, you have a lot of brands going bust. And I know you've pushed more into your own, controlling your own real estate, your own retail stores. But when you lose a department store and you lose them in chunks, that has to have some impact.
Well, our strategy for the last 9 years has been to pivot to direct to consumer. And I think the pandemic is going to accelerate that shift. We've doubled down on our e-commerce business through this pandemic. We've got a strong e-commerce site. That business was up 25% in the second quarter, was up 79% in May, the last month of the quarter, and that trend has continued. And we run 3,100 retail stores around the world. So we are a retailer, and we've been pivoting harder to retail. When I joined the company 9 years ago, our U.S. wholesale business was 48% of our total global revenue. Today, it's less than 30%. And now the big retailers that are financially challenged, they're going to be cutting from the bottom up. And so the majority of our business and all of these big retailers are done in the top doors. And that's where we've been focusing. The bottom doors are less contribution to their business, which is why those doors are getting closed. It's less contribution to our business. And we think that we've got enormous opportunities still with some of our biggest retailers to give us more space, to present the brand more as a lifestyle brand, which is how our brand comes to life in our own stores. So more tops, more trucker jackets, plenty of opportunities for us to continue to grow share and help them drive revenue growth in their stores. And so there's plenty of opportunity there. And then there are some white space opportunities for us with some other retailers that we're also working on. So, but the pivot now is much more to our own direct to consumer business where we can really control the brand.
What's your best guess on how back to school will play out for Levi's? It's always an important time for the denim replenishment cycle.
It's been less and less important over the 9 years that I've been here. Back to school used to be a moment. It was a week or 2 weeks when every retailer ran sales and people had to rush out and buy their apparel before school went back. Now kids want to wait until they see what the cool kids in school are wearing. So back to school is stretched to a 4, 6, 8 week period of time that extends all the way through September. But I think it's going to be muted. I mean, a lot of schools aren't going back. My daughter's school is going to start the school year remotely. And so I do think it's going to be a muted back to school season. I do think there will be some back to school opportunity, but it's going to be muted.
And Chip, before we let you go, we've talked a bunch of times in the past, but this is your first time, I think, appearing visually on Yahoo Finance. And what our viewers may not realize, you're the guy that created the Swiffer. You spent close to 30 years at P&G. What has been your take on the pandemic and the consumption of cleaning products? You have to be watching this.
Well, I mean, a very good friend of mine, Ben O'Dore, just stepped down as CEO of Clorox, and he's had an amazing run. He's also a P&G alumni, a fine guy, and a good friend. And he's had an amazing run at Clorox. And you look at what the Clorox business has done, and their business, that's a lot of it. And so it's been really good for cleaning products. P&G also had a terrific quarter this past quarter. I think their stock is at a record high right now. And, so it's been really good. And that's one of the things about the pandemic. It's been terrific for some companies and it's been very, very challenging for others. But we're all in this together. We're all facing the same dynamics. We're facing the same pandemic and health crisis, the economic fallout that is associated with that, and now all the racial and social injustice issues. So every CEO across every industry is dealing with the same issues. But I do think coming out of the pandemic, there are going to be winners and losers. And in our industry, we're very, very confident we're going to come out of this stronger. We are going to be one of the winners. Our balance sheet is really, really strong. The Levi's brand has never been healthier, and we're continuing to connect with consumers even in the midst of the pandemic.
And Chip, before we let you go, you have not hidden your desire to potentially buy more real estate, potentially maybe even look at other brands. You're sitting on a lot of cash.
We are sitting on a lot of cash. The crisis creates an opportunity, and we're not going to miss any opportunities that happen to come along. We're one of the few retailers that are still adding, we are still adding stores. And, the commercial real estate market is going to get devastated by the economic fallout of this. We've talked about all the bankruptcies. There's going to be good real estate that comes available, and we're on the hunt. We've announced we're going to add 70 stores this year. We've done about 30 at this point. So, and we'll continue to add stores. And there's a great opportunity to find really good real estate at reasonable leases right now. And we're not going to miss that opportunity. But crisis does create an opportunity, and we're going to pounce on it in every place we can.
All right, let's leave it there. Levi Strauss CEO Chip Bergh, always good to talk with you. And I know you're wearing a pair of jeans on the other side of that camera.
I absolutely am. Pair of Levi's, not just any jeans, a pair of Levi's.
All right, take care.
Thanks a lot, Brian. Good to see you.
Good to see you.